Yeah.
I think you're more welcome to sit back here, just chill.
Okay. Yeah, because if I stand any other place,
Yeah, it might be in the way.
We're back up. We got audio.
It's okay.
Everything's up. It'll just give it the 30 seconds.
Do you like my frame, John? Do you like my frame? I'm wide open. Is that too much?
Actually, would you mind recording some behind the scenes when we're over there? Like, I mean, whenever you're not in the shot or something. Huh?
I think I'll put Marley in. This is room right there. Is it not connecting? Is it? Sometimes it attaches to an EXT. If that's the case, yeah, it's really weird.
That happens sometimes.
There's an extension thing.
It looks like I'm on the main one.
Yeah.
It's stable, but the device we're using to connect the camera sometimes can be wonky. So no, this isn't the device. Both of our internets are down. Oh, mine's up still. I mean, can you do anything else? Yeah.
Let me unplug this white thing really quick. Sorry, guys. Let me just unplug this. I think that's the issue sometimes. Okay, did it connect okay? Oh. It's disconnected?
We lost it.
Okay, I'm good to go.
Can you drop down the Wi-Fi?
I'll give you my phone.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Is a roommate on internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
But usually,
Did we pull the extension out?
I did. I pulled the extension out.
I'll try doing it through my. Yeah, you already said it's live, right? Yeah, I have the share deck thing up here plus all the other stuff.
Don't lock in so much though, because once they are seated, we might have to.
Is it fucking? Can you connect to your phone? Okay. Do you want to connect on mine? Yeah. Are you guys back connected?
I'm back up, so I'm not sure.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Can I take one picture of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so funny, you guys. I don't think you understand.
So I can.
Okay. Do you want me to show you? Yeah, I got a smart Okay. Are you on video? Oh shit. Okay. Here, you can connect to my hotspot.
Well, it just pops up on the internet.
Yeah, it's gonna say. I just don't know what it'll do for yours. Sorry. Yeah, if it pops up.
There's too many people.
Probably.
I am.
Oh, you just
5500, 180 on that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's right there.
Thank you.
2823.
All good. She's connecting to my hotspot. Yeah. I'll move it.
Oh, great, thank you.
Yeah, no. That's probably in the way.
Is there an extra Pelican over there that's not being used? No. No, okay. All good.
These got brought in to be used.
All good.
There's probably more.
I'll sit in the back here.
Love that. Gonna have my Monstera on my head.
What's your battery looking like?
Yeah. He's
It's gonna be good. Bring it in.
Thank you. I trust you. No.
Listen, you trust me.
Sorry if I stutter a little bit. I'll try not to.
No, it's totally. This is your home. This is your thing. You know. You're just chatting it away. You know.
Okay.
I really do like that. It's like two like young men just talk chatting about it. I think that's a really nice image.
I agree.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And then there's a part in the end where we're gonna really have a cocktail and be chatting in your backyard.
Yeah.
Just really chill.
Yeah.
Alright, Alex, this space look okay back here?
Yep. Just your laptop and that's it. Where's the table? You want to put the table back where it was?
Yeah. Is it gone?
Yeah. I don't know. Hey Don,
What's up, babe?
was the table moved because?
There's a lot here makeup on it. Why, do you want the table there for us?
The table's nice.
What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it was empty.
Okay.
Even if there's stuff on the table, I just want it.
Empty.
If we're both powering down.
Real marble table?
It's really heavy. Yeah. And yes, it is real.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I shouldn't touch it.
I know where you can touch whatever.
Sure,
I was
that
gonna
one.
just toss it over here.
And then I can probably put the plant back on the table, so at least it has like a little bit of
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
a little bit of life on there.
Okay.
Here, we'll switch that.
Just throwing things around.
I told you that you're fine, and then I go ahead and.
It's really heavy. Yeah.
Cool. Steve, am I on the left or the right?
We're gonna be on the right.
Okay.
Oops, sorry. Camera.
Camera right.
Okay.
Talk to me, Goose.
Were you saying you wanted to try to get
Yeah.
rid of
Yeah.
Monica?
That one too.
That's a wish list. It's not. It is
How's
not
that?
necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yay.
You people. Is that your downstairs? Like, fit from there?
No, that actually I got that from my mom, and it's being really, really difficult to grow, and I'm trying to find the right lighting for it. But no, it's not from this one. I haven't repot this guy.
Yeah, we're all good, live feed-wise, guys, so whenever you guys are ready, we are.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
No problem.
I'm gonna look at myself too.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna sit down the ground. But you feel free to, you can sit in the chair back there. You will not be seen here.
Also, like a little too saturated for like commercial. It's kind of
This one's too saturated.
too saturated. Oh.
I have no jewelry, so maybe I could just
Maybe
put a
like
necklace on.
If you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think, we didn't have it earlier, so I don't really know.
Anything
Makes a
that
big
is
diff.
not in-
Yeah.
is just like.
Make your speech.
Final call.
Becoming crushed.
I think it's
That's what I would say if I was in like pro wrestling.
Doug, can you get rid of that? Thank you, sir.
Hey, Steve.
No.
Steve
Not there.
He's disappeared.
Steve is gone.
He's not lost.
Yeah, I just saw your jewelry and it made me think, I have no jewelry on. But I also didn't have jewelry on earlier.
Continuity's fine.
I think
Huh?
that's
I don't think they won't be concerned if you have it on now versus but
Before. Do you have any strong feelings about jewelry? No.
No.
Alright.
What were you wearing in the? Were you wearing that?
Nothing. I wouldn't wear it. I wasn't wearing anything.
Then probably nebula.
Sit with nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
I feel like Oprah.
I know.
Welcome to the TED Talk.
You guys have like on one of the cameras and not on the other.
Well, no, we have your iron light thing on both.
Okay.
Is it looking different?
It does. I mean, mine looks so different than yours.
Yeah, you're like considerably.
Mine's like crunchy and.
Yeah. Or is one of you have like the flat on?
I have display preset as Rec 709 SDR.
I feel good. No, yeah, it's fine. I just once we start talking, then I'll be like, okay, just talk about my house.
Image,
Easy enough. It'll be good.
Or 3D light. IPP2 light iron matrix.
Yeah, that's right. Go to your ISO real quick. Or the.
ISO?
No, on go to some menu, pick image. ISO. Is it? Oh, you're at -1 exposure.
Well, why?
Just be something carried over.
0.
Oh, you want to go 0?
Right?
Ours,
Well, you've been shooting at 1, I guess.
yeah, you've been using. It's been at 1, so.
Okay. Either way, I mean it's a different thing. So.
Yeah.
-1.
Yeah.
Alright. I have never dealt with that aspect of this camera.
Is that, I mean, did that,
It's something that somebody well, I did a project with somebody and they did that, so
did it make the image appear more?
it just gives you a little bit more safety, I guess.
I meant between us, like, did it make it look, did it match?
Oh yeah,
Match
it's
there.
for back.
Oh, that is, okay, interesting. Alright, so,
Steve, do you mind
Tell us about yourself.
painting that monitor to me really quick? Sorry. Oh, yeah, they still look pretty different.
It's like your blacks are getting crushed
Yeah.
on that left side.
I mean, it's fine. It's the light, because like on the through the red display, it's not like that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But on this, it's like,
Yeah, it's definitely darker on the.
yeah.
if you do your, like, SDI, like, display out, like, display preset, this guy, what's
Uh-huh.
that on?
I think that's Rec 709
SDR?
SDR.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe there's a lot on the small HD. It's getting burned in.
It's good. It's
It, no, because it's not, it's going out of the Arabic.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's not coming out of that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I know it's
I
good.
mean, like, there could be a lot
It's fine.
on the Arabic receiver.
No, it's fine.
You would have that on.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Flowers in the foreground. Thoughts?
Yeah, do you wanna John, do you mind just asking if they're cool with this image?
Should we center it on frame, or do you like it kind of off?
Let's see what it looks like.
Like the whole table.
You guys are right now?
Yeah.
Okay, just west.
I don't want it to be like completely perfect.
Okay.
I feel like that's better, at least you see your me a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's fine. We'll see what they say. They may be like
Cool.
Depending on how she's sitting, pitching a little bit of Monaco, I feel like it's like small enough camera, maybe I should just.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. If it's like
Yeah, it's like,
oddly creeping in, that's
Yeah.
that's good.
it's probably not that one, Andreas. It's probably those ones.
I like looked at this and I was like, is that makeup? Like, are we doing eyeshadow?
I know. What is that?
It's a chart that's color accurate, so we can show it. So when they're coloring it in the two cameras, if they come out different, then the person who's the colorist at the end can match them more easily.
Oh,
They don't have to guess with colors that aren't like the perfect colors.
gotcha.
Imagine that.
I know.
Helping
Technology.
Yeah.
Love it.
So hey, do you want to stand?
No, I'm gonna be booming.
You sure?
It's
What
only an hour, right?
yeah, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and do a single of Monica asking all the same questions again.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Ah.
So would that be? Would you?
No, it's fine. I
Are you
mean,
sure?
unless this is totally distracting for me to like
Okay.
be swinging a boom in here for you guys.
No, I don't think so. But it's your call. I don't want you to like if you know if it's easier just to set it for Lariel and then like
Is that what y'all typically do?
typically yeah. I just want to make sure it's easy for you. It's just like it's gonna get warm in here too. So I just
Oh,
yeah.
are you concerned for my safety? Is that
Yeah, if you
is that what it is?
yeah, if you'd rather like
Oh,
no.
no, I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good.
cool. Alright, I just wanted to make sure, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, you have the two up here, and then you have the symbol on Lariel, so
Yeah.
if you wanted to be able to use it in
Cool, I just didn't want to like,
or you do like 7-hour holds. You know.
Oh god.
Lariel, can you
Yeah.
look at Monica, please? Andre, can you take off that menu thing that you have on your screen? Does that make sense between the two shots?
yeah, is there a way to get a little bit more Monica in it? Or were you guys talking about it? You're good where you are.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I can show you if like basically all the way up against the stand. But that would be. Previously, I was getting kind of an awkward amount of her.
I see.
Monica
if you look at each
face
other.
Lariel.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
Thank you.
Good job. We love to see.
Yeah, it's almost like a dirty, it's not really like an over.
Yeah, I'd have to be like.
No, let's just do a clean single.
Yeah.
Or either that or we turn them more towards each other.
No, because I really like the way it looks in the single, or the wide.
Got it.
This is gonna be good.
Sorry, Andre.
You're good.
Okay, cool.
They're just making all of this up. This is,
I can tell. Yeah.
We're actually
Not
we're
professionals
actually
at
not
all.
gonna record.
None of those are.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't plan on recording any of this.
Rec 709XYZ. Just to make you guys nervous.
Alright, you guys ready to roll?
Yeah.
Yep. Don, was there any opinion on the flowers?
I haven't got an answer on any.
Okay. Are they on?
It says 5 people watching the stream.
Okay. Are they hearing us?
Yeah, they got out.
Good.
I mean, I would say probably good.
Okay. I just yeah. Alright, let's burn it.
Oh, they just said good.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Alrighty.
Cool. Let's speed.
These speeds.
Hey, speeds.
Sounds sweet.
Got it.
Got it?
Okay.
Hey, Cam. Got it?
Yeah, speed. Yep.
Okie dokie. Interview, take 1. Soft sticks. Real soft.
Okay. So Monica, we're just gonna start off with tell me a little bit about your home and what drew you to it.
Okay.
And then let's make sure sure that you're always engaged with Lariel.
Okay.
Like
So always looking at
And I'm looking this way too.
Yeah, you guys are having a conversation with each other.
Okay.
Great.
So tell me a little.
Sorry, that's on me. Making this. Sorry, I was trying to hide some cables we saw. Okay. A is set. Okay. B set.
Okay, and action.
So tell me a little bit about your home and what drew you to it.
Yeah, so my house is located in the Bay Area. I'm a Bay Area native, so it was important for me to find a home that was close to my mom that actually lives in Castro Valley. It was also, I was looking in San Leandro because it was central to anywhere else in the Bay Area. It's really close to Oakland, really close to Castro Valley, and really close to San Francisco. But I guess what drew me to this home in particular, this neighborhood has like really old houses, and every single house had its own unique charm, right? Maybe the archways, the big windows, the outrageous colors of the houses. So that's kind of what drew me to the house. When I came here with my realtor, it was actually off the market. So it was interesting because it was different from all the other houses that I was looking at. But yeah, I think what drew me to the home was definitely the location and absolutely just the charm of the neighborhood and the charm of this house.
Cool. So let's go into the next question, which is...
Solid, okay.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
great
good
response,
job.
by the way.
Thank you.
Phenomenal.
I stuttered a little bit, but
yeah,
thank you.
I was gonna just say, do you want to just do another like take of that, and we'll clean it up, and just pick up on where you were talking about like what it's close to, just so that we get a good clean one in San Francisco as well.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to include that, but I just don't want to like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way it's.
Can I just start from the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool,
So,
cool, cool.
Monica, you can just ask that question again, and then we'll.
Okay. So tell me, it's essentially tell me about your home and what drew you to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your home and what drew you to it, and make sure before you ask the question that you're already looking at her.
Okay.
Because you have a tendency of looking at me
And then
starting to ask the question
Yeah.
as you turn. So
Got it,
just wait,
okay.
Set and then ask.
All right, gotcha.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about your home and what drew you to it.
Yeah, I'm a Bay Area native, so it was really important to me to find a house that was close to my mom, who lives in Castro Valley, and then also just close to other cities like Oakland, San Francisco, and that's really what drew me to San Leandro. What drew me to this home in particular was the charm of the neighborhood. If you walk down the street, all of these homes are really old. There's different window sizes, paint colors on the houses, a lot of things that just give it a really unique charm, and that was important to me. So, yeah.
Great. That was a phenomenal follow-up answer. Okay. Next question is, what kind of alterations have you made to the home so far?
Okay. So what kind of alterations have you made to the home so far?
So again, the house is a little bit old. One of the main things that I had to do as soon as I moved in was new windows in the entire house, and this house has 19 windows. So
Wow.
replacing all of the windows was the first project. Second project was new electricity. The electricity was also original to the house, so you can imagine not being able to plug in the toaster and the microwave in the same outlet without it blowing was absolutely a must-have for the house. And then after that, I did paint on the exterior and then a new roof. So a ton of new projects as soon as I moved in, but luckily I was living with my mom at the time, so it wasn't, a ton of urgency to move into this house as quickly as I could.
Great. Wow, new roof.
New roof.
Oh my gosh.
Everything. New windows, new roof, new paint.
Okay. Next question is, what's your favorite part about this home?
So what's your favorite part about this home?
So many things. I love this front room. Again, the charm and the character to even like the framing, all of the windows just brings a lot of natural light in. I would say naturally, I gravitate towards the living room and the kitchen area. I entertain a lot. I have a huge family, so anytime anyone comes over, it's just like food and drinks in the kitchen and then entertaining in the living room. So I would say like this entire area is probably my favorite, and the backyard's cool too. Marley loves it.
Yeah. Shout out to Marley.
Cool.
Steve, did you want us to kind of just ask the direct questions now, or is it more conversational? Like, oh yeah, like so your parents are, oh Marley, like just kind of like the question.
As far as like asking about, just give me what do you
Like, for example, and she's like, yeah, no, my parents are down the block, and I'm like, oh, that's great. So you host a lot, and you know.
Oh, I think like in the way that she was responding, it's not really necessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just letting her, making sure just not interrupting while like or like. Yeah, do you mean kind of like how we did the kind of artificial like, right? Or O's? Yeah. We'll do those. We'll save those for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then this is kind of like the last, like just about kind of the house and what you love about it and the area. This one is what is your favorite part about the Bay Area? Or actually, let's just phrase it. What's your favorite part of this area? Okay. And it may be a little duplicative of what you've already said, but that's okay. Okay. So I think you hitting like the location to your family as well as location to this area that you know very well. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And action.
So what's your favorite part about this area?
What I love about San Leandro is you always get a little bit of something different when you're in the Bay, right? You get different people, you get really amazing food, mom and pop restaurants. But I would say for me, my favorite part is just being central to my family and friends. Like, I am a family girl, love my family, love my friends, love hanging out. So just being able to be super close to them and then entertain in my own house is what I absolutely love.
Can we get the question one more time? The boom dropped in a little bit.
Okay.
So what do you love about this area?
Yep. Okay. And just be mindful of so's beforehand.
Okay.
Yep, so no so's.
What do you love about this area?
What I love about San Leandro is it's just, again, really central in the Bay Area. One of the main things is, you know, you have mom and pop restaurants down the street. It's really local to other places in the Bay Area. You can drive other places very easily. My family and friends live in this area as well, so just being able to have everyone over and entertain, I think is probably what I love the most about being here in San Leandro.
Great. Okay, now we're going to be moving on to just kind of recounting the journey to this home, right? And like how it went. Like what was your kind of initial feelings? And I think what we want to kind of talk about too here is just how you know, it's talking about the whole aspect of the market here in the Bay Area and how it takes. I think one of the things that you called out was really focusing on timing and luck, right? Yeah. And that was kind of how you were able to find this, like, right? Like it was just being right place, right time, and then also just lucky that that you put in an offer that the sellers felt was fair, kind of to what you're saying. So
yeah. Am I slouching at all?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think you look good. I feel like I'm slouching.
But if you feel like you are, just do an adjustment. It's okay to
We'll let you know if something's
okay.
strange.
All right. Cool.
Okay. All right. So, Monica, the question is, tell me about your journey to this home and how did it go?
So tell me about your. There's a so.
Okay.
Tell me about your journey to this home. So how'd it go? One more time. Tell me about your journey to this home. How did it go?
Actually, you could just tell me about this journey, and maybe we follow like. Maybe just we can maybe qualify it with like, and how did how did that make you feel or something? So let's just say, tell me about your journey to this home.
Okay. Tell me about your journey to this home.
Yeah, when I made the decision to start looking for houses, again, I knew I wanted to stay local to the Bay Area. I was focused on 3 specific cities, Oakland, San Leandro, and Castro Valley area. So when I was narrowing down, which houses I wanted to look for, I was just doing a ton of research. My realtor is like a family friend, so I sat down with her and I sent her this full list of houses. And lucky for me, I gave her a couple lists of houses, so I would say around 10 houses. And this was one of the houses on that list. Basically, we found out that the house was off the market when I was interested in looking. And luckily, she reached out to their seller's agent and asked if it would be possible for us to still take a tour of the house. And they said it was okay. So when I came in, walked around the house. I just absolutely fell in love with it. It was crazy for me because I think most people go through the journey, especially in the Bay Area, of going and viewing or seeing or walking through like 100 different houses. My mom looked through 150 houses before she found her house, which is insane. But yeah, we walked through the house. I fell in love with it. There were so many things about it that had so much charm, and for some reason it was just calling my name. So immediately after I left this house, I talked with my mom and I'm like, I think I love it. I think this is the one. And so we called my agent. She told me that she was going to put in an offer. We went back and forth on what I would be comfortable with offering, gave her the price. She told the seller's agent and they accepted it. I think when you think about the Bay Area and how competitive the market is here, some would say it's a mix of luck and good timing, me stumbling across this house, but I think, yeah, overall it was probably just meant to be. Started the process there after they accepted my offer.
Awesome, great answer. Very
That's
succinct.
really good, yeah.
That was long-winded.
No,
But that was
it's
great.
Okay.
So like, let's know. Next, we're gonna talk about like just how you kind of financially prepare, right? This is your first time going into this for of home ownership. How did you kind of personally prepare? And what we're meaning is like just as far as you're figuring out assets, like, and you know all the expenses that you're gonna do. How are you kind of budgeting for that?
Yeah.
Not necessarily looking for any type of financial details.
Actual
or
hard
anything. It's
numbers,
more just
yeah.
like how did you prepare for it?
Yeah.
How did you? Monica, the question is,
I know. It's hard.
It's okay. How did you prepare financially to buy this home based on your budget and needs and wants? And you kind of, the way you did that last time too was like your needs, your wants, like, kind of keep it like a little more casual.
How did you prepare financially in terms of your needs and wants for this home? Or, like, how did you prepare financially?
Yeah, how did you prepare financially to buy to buy this home based off?
Okay.
Or actually, let's simplify it. How did you prepare financially based on your budget, your needs, your wants?
Okay.
Yep.
How did you prepare financially based off of your budget, your needs, your wants?
Yeah, I think being in the Bay Area, there was a financial plan that I had mapped out with my mom prior to even starting to look, right? There was a range of what I was comfortable paying with based on, the salary that I had coming in every month. So that's kind of where my search started, was making sure that I was staying within that budget. Preparing financially, fortunately, like I keep mentioning, I'm from the Bay Area. So after I graduated college in Oregon, I moved back down, moved in with my mom, and I was in my master's program. Simultaneously, I started working for a tech company in San Francisco called Yelp. And while I was there, in the back of my mind, I was always like, okay, I'm gonna just save a lot of money. I haven't been someone that just like blows money a ton. So for me, it made sense. If I had a full-time job and I'm staying at my mom's house, I should be saving for something. I think it didn't get to the point where I was like saving for a house until I started listening to a ton of podcasts about investment properties. And I was like, wow, that's something I've never heard of before. What's an investment property? And so really looking into that and thinking about, okay, what are you bringing in every month? What are you saving? And how do you plan to allocate this money towards something in the future? I think naturally, buying a house came to mind. And again, I think I had that comfort of being able to be at home with my family, save a little bit more than the normal person, which put me in a good position when I was, actually looking at new homes. What was going to be in my budget? What could I afford? What can I put down for a down payment? So yeah, it was kind of more that process of figuring out what's realistic for me when I'm thinking about a mortgage payment. And then also just making sure that even though I was living with my mom, not spending a crazy amount on like going out or traveling or all of those things. I had fun, but I didn't go crazy.
Excellent. So I think what the next thing I'd like to ask is just around kind of what inspired you or empowered you. So maybe we use the word empower. What empowered you to to go on this journey as a single woman, you know, and take this on, what gave you, like, so maybe we can just say, like, as a single woman, you know, like, what empowered you to want to do this, to take this on?
Okay. As a single woman, what empowered you to take this on?
Yeah, I would say inspiration from my mom. I keep talking about her. We have a really great relationship, but I think for me, like I said, there was a goal at some point to allow my money to make money for itself. And I think the most natural instinct was to purchasing a home. I've never bought anything that cost more than like $10,000. And so for me, it just felt like the natural progression, the next step, right? I graduated college, I got my master's, I worked in tech in San Francisco. So yeah, I think just having that influence of my mom, I don't have a ton of friends that purchase their own home, but I think me being able to be financially smart early on in my career, following on or getting recommendations from my mom on like what to do, how to manage my money, really helped me move in the right direction of like, you can own something, and this is something that's going to be something that you can give to your kids, or something that's going to be a family home for you later on, or you can expand. This house is relatively small, but I can expand and move back into the backyard. So yeah, I would say that's kind of what empowered me.
Awesome, great response.
Yeah.
Really, I thought that was terrible.
Your responses are like amazing. Everyone is incredible.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, if that was too stuttery, let me know. We can do it again.
We
No.
also like we have 2 cameras.
Okay.
We can, if anything feels weird, we can always, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Now your responses, and you speak very like you give yourself a little bit of space too. So we're great. You're doing fine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Is that fan going to be an issue? This fan just this camera's running hot.
Oh, it just kicked on.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we do this? When did it come on? Just now?
Like the back last like 25% of her answer.
On that last shot? Okay, that's fine. Let's do this. Let's cut.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is we'll run a new one, and just let's cover the cameras, the lenses. After we slate in, we'll do like 20 seconds of room tone, so we have it, and then we'll just go. Cool. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's get a new slate in there.
Welcome back.
Why do I always get the camera that's running hot? I don't always get the same camera.
I don't know. Usually that one does. Maybe it's you.
Yeah. Maybe it's me. Maybe I run hot.
You run hot on the camera.
Possible.
Okay.
I'm not sweating.
Yep. All right. So let's speed.
Sounds
Hey, speeds.
These speakers.
Interview, take 2.
Okay. Let's cover lenses. Call Rita.
Alright, this is Lariel and Monica. 20 seconds rental starting now. Room tone 10.
Phenomenal. Okay.
Do you know what room tone is?
No.
I just learned what it was last time. It's like when they just take the sound of the room, so that in the background it's like.
Yeah. So basically what the room tone is for is since that fan kicked on, what we want to do is to be able to, if we you can sometimes use that sound to kind of remove, like similar to the noise canceling. Lightly, but then the other thing is when you're doing editing,
Yeah.
if I like say chop maybe one of your responses, took it and then put a little breathing room, if we don't have that room tone, it like there's an audible drop in sound, so that helps carry the same sounds all the way through.
Gotcha.
So.
Ringtone.
The more you know, right?
Check.
The more you know.
Okay. So the next question is going to be: is there anything you would have approached differently now that you are on the other end and can look back at it.
So is this more around like what we talked about in the escrow process?
Yeah, so it's more about, I think the way we want to kind of phrase this is, you can take a breather for a second. The way we want to like kind of phrase this is less about like the, kind of more for like fighting for what's right and, you know, taking on, like going through the process of negotiating on your end, especially with
the windows and stuff.
Yeah, and just like you have to pick and choose your battles, right? Like, and knowing that there are some things that are must-haves that you want, like you got to fight for, and then there's certain things where you're like, okay, if they weren't going to budge, is this something that I'm willing to take on, and can I handle this without putting myself? And then just kind of talking about like in that mindset of, do I want to take it on, or do I need to walk away from this? You know, and kind of the emotional side of it. Like, you know, you fall in love with something, so it's hard to like, walk away. But But is it the right call? And ultimately, if everything works out once you kind of reassessed to handle or take on that project, you know, you got to make that call. And I was able to, you know, I ran in. We don't need to get into all the details of what those things are, but more just like there were some things that I was willing to budge on, and there were some things that I weren't, or I was not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Monica, the question is, kind of, now that you're on the other end and can look back at it, is there anything that you would have approached differently?
Okay. Now that you're on the other end and can look back at it, is there anything you would have approached differently?
Yeah, I would say one of the more difficult processes in buying this home was the escrow process. So it was all super exciting when I walked through the house and it was off the market. I knew there wasn't going to be any competition and like a bidding war, which is huge in the Bay Area. So once they accepted my offer, something in hindsight that I didn't know was how long the escrow process was going to be. So typically you close on your house in about 60 days. In that time frame, you get all of your inspections done. You essentially negotiate things with the seller of things that you need to have before the house closes, right? If the windows were stuck, which is what happened here, the windows were stuck, and I was negotiating a lot with the sellers like, hey, I really love this house. I want to move in. I can't wait. But one thing that I absolutely need is new windows in the house. These windows are original to the house, and this house is 80 years old. If I need to get out in case of an emergency, like these windows don't open. So I would say, you know, going through the escrow process and having a little bit of resistance with the seller was one of the things that I didn't anticipate that I would have to go through. But luckily, again, because my mom purchased a house a few years before me, there was a lot of things, a lot of questions that she prompted me to say, hey, make sure you're asking about this, make sure you're doing an inspection on that. So all of those things in hindsight, I know I would absolutely do again, and I absolutely recommend to a friend if they're ever thinking about buying a home or, you know, looking into something with someone else. So yeah, I would say that's something in hindsight that I wish I would have known, is just asking the right questions, making sure that if they weren't going to budge on something that I was asking before I closed, I'm stuttering.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
I'm rambling.
Yeah, no, just pick up where you left off. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's more, I think where you were kind of headed was just, you were kind of summarizing everything that you had just said, like, we can maybe pick it up from talking about, you had said, oh man.
Things that they're not willing to budge on, like
yeah,
maybe being a little bit more firm and
yeah, and I think it's the one thing, especially in this case too, is we're talking about, you know, there's emotions on, the thing to understand is there's emotions on both ends of when you're buying a home from somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And whether that is, you know, and that's a hard thing to account for and prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really about leaning into, you know, your experts and people like your inspector or, you know, my mom to kind of help kind of keep your compass on the right course, right?
Yeah.
It's remembering why you're kind of doing this, and then also I'd love for you to touch on the point too of making that, and you know, kind of getting to that decision where you're like, okay, are these things that I want to take on?
Yeah.
Or are these things that I just need to walk away from?
Yeah.
And ultimately, in my case, the things that the seller wasn't willing to budge on, these are things that I found a way for me to address and handle on my own. By
Okay.
just, you know,
Yeah.
figuring it out and
Yeah.
taking a step back and
Okay.
looking at it, and not looking and not being, trying not to let your emotions kind of guide you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So let's just, would it be helpful if Monica asked the question again?
Yeah. Can we start from the
Yeah.
beginning?
Yeah, sure. So, Monica, the question is, now that you're on the other end and you can look back at all of this, is there anything that you would have approached differently or,
Okay. Now that you're on the other end and can look back at the whole process, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Yeah, I would say the escrow process is definitely something that I didn't take into consideration when I was looking for my home. Obviously, you know, when I put in my offer, they accepted it. I was super excited. I was ready. I fell in love with the house, so I knew I made the right decision. Something that I didn't anticipate, again, was that escrow process. And for this house in particular, because it's a relatively old home, all of the things that came with the house were also really old as well. My mom was giving me some recommendations through the process of making sure that I get all my inspections in, making sure that everything's up to code, making sure that there isn't anything that's going to surprise me after I close on my house. So as I was kind of going back and forth with the sellers through my escrow process, there were a few things that I felt like they could have budged on a bit more. But again, in hindsight, I think it's more of an understanding of it's a big investment for them selling their house. It's a big investment for me purchasing a home. And so it's like settling on those terms is what I didn't anticipate would be such an emotional roller coaster, right? You go from this high of being excited, having them accept the offer, and then through the process, them not necessarily budging on certain things that I would have loved if they fixed prior to moving in. And crazy enough, we got to 2 days before I was supposed to close on escrow, and I was really, really firm on them fixing the windows before the house closed, and also new electrical throughout the entire house because it was original to the home. We got to 2 days before. They were really firm on not budging with getting those things fixed. And so I actually had a sit-down conversation with my mom, and I'm like, this isn't fair. This is my first home. They should be able to be willing to, you know, budge and help with some of the things that I know I have to get fixed as soon as I move in anyways. And so my mom was like, well, you need to weigh the pros and cons. Do you love the home? Is it affordable for what you can? Is it affordable for your budget? And long term, is this something that you'll still be proud that you actually bought? And after thinking about all those things, I was like, this house fell into my lap. I fell in love the second I walked in, and something like the windows or getting new electricity, that's just a one-time thing that I have to buy as soon as I move in, but I know long-term it's gonna pay for itself. So long-winded way of saying, you know, it was an emotional roller coaster going through that escrow process, but it ended up being 1,000% worth it, and I couldn't be happier.
and I would love to, or if you could kind of even just talk about that kind of just as like, you know, even as like a tip to somebody, do we want to, you know, like really assessing is like that whole like fight or flight type thing? Is this something that I want to, is this something that I can manage, or do I just need to walk away from it? And then you can kind of just like get into the like, you know, ultimately after assessing, having that sit down conversation with my mom, this was, I realized that this is something I could, you know, some of these things that the seller wasn't willing to budge on, these were things that I could handle.
Yeah.
And once I had that plan, I felt confident in it. And then I love what you said too, just like thinking about it as a long-term investment, and that, yes, this is maybe a pain in the butt to fix right now, but ultimately, like, it's a small investment into the home that's going to be like a long-term solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
is it going to be a new question or just start talking again?
Let's just pick up. Maybe there's a way to ask this. Like, so maybe Monica, this is what we'll ask. We'll say, you know, so how did you come to the decision, or yeah, how am I going to say this? How did you come to the decision to, what am I trying to get at? How did you, at what point did you, I'm just trying to find the right data.
Like, how did you decide to move forward? What made you decide to move forward, or?
So, okay, maybe we'll do it like this. We'll set it up kind of addressing the problem. So, the seller wasn't really budging on some of the items that you wanted to. It says ready. Okay, thank you. Did the volume pick up? Yeah, it does that when
Excuse me. Let's switch out your battery
Okay.
while we're stopped down.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. It's never this hot in here.
You just start wherever.
It's okay. We have everything turned off, so. Right.
Alright, we're ready to get that in whenever you all are.
Waiting on
You're doing amazing.
Sam.
Thank you. You're doing amazing.
Wow,
No.
Andre.
What do you do? What Andre do?
What did I do?
I know.
I got you.
It's all good.
I got you.
It's all good.
We're waiting
hostile
on
work environment
sound.
Don't mess with sound, alright?
Nobody
Hey,
messes
Steve,
with
does that say not ready or ready?
Turned to ready.
That's ready.
So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll be waiting on
How many questions are you left?
Oh,
Alright, we're back up.
but good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
to do it on your own is major.
Wait, it sounds like.
Where in New
Especially-
York?
I got it in Yonkers, but I only got it for an investment.
Okay.
So I fully rent it out. It's a 3-family house, and
Nice.
at first, you know, they're like, "Are you gonna move in?" I'm like, "No, I literally just want to rent it just to have that rental
I don't
income."
know what any of it
And
means, but it was
Make that money. Passive income. Yeah.
Yeah, truly,
Started.
it's great.
Like, can't.
Um,
I can't
you know, you
walk.
still have to deal with tenants, which is all good, but like, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
already shows.
I think people don't realize how difficult that actually is being a landlord
it's not.
and dealing with tenants. It's,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, initially when I was like trying to buy a rental property,
Let's go ahead and.
I was gonna
rip
do
it.
it out of state, and I was like,
Rip and rip.
there's no
Yeah,
way.
it's
How
a
am I
whole
gonna?
thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Grab this from you, ladies.
Yeah.
So much better.
So much better. Sitting on these are not comfortable.
You guys are doing really great.
Everyone's doing so good.
Exactly.
It's fine.
People who invest in interviews
I
are always
think this
wondering
is
if you're
yours
doing
because I
good.
came over and I grabbed the laptop.
Yeah.
And read it, so. Okay.
I'm also trying to figure out like what's a non-awkward way to sit.
I know.
Like, do I?
I'm like, and
just-
where do I put my hands?
and, like, if it's down, that's weird.
All right, everybody
Peace
speaking.
be.
I think the AC is still on.
Yeah, AC.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, can you guys turn off the AC back there?
Yep.
And scoot it. And scoot it where it was.
Oh, you're just down there, huh?
Can you scoot it back?
Oh,
Scoot it back.
yes.
Whatever damage Dom did.
Damage done did.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
You good? Okay.
Peace.
Everybody speaking? Take 3, interview.
Sorry, hold on. A is adjusting. Alright. ASA.
All right. Are you ready there, Monica? Do you remember the question?
Yeah. Just essentially, what are some key, not key takeaways, but
What are, yeah, it was,
what are some?
What are some of the things you learned from this
Yeah.
experience?
yeah. Okay. And action.
What are some of the things that you learned from this experience?
A lot of things. But I would say the main thing is I think there's this stigma of purchasing a home and you need a partner to do it. So I think me being able to do it on my own just reaffirmed my independence, my ability to make decisions, my ability to budget financially, to be able to make the largest investment of my entire life. And I think like it didn't hit me, honestly.
Can you just take that again? Sorry, there's a plane decided to buzz the house. And I just, sorry, I didn't want to like let you go and then just be like,
And then
"Hey,
have to
let's
do it
that
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries.
So, what are some of the things you learned from this experience?
It's still just tailing off. Hang on.
Okay.
Track is replaced.
I know. we're actually lucky. There's usually sometimes like loud cars that drive by and it vibrates the entire house. Luckily, that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, you just jinxed us.
I know. Sorry. Knock on wood.
People racing for family.
Yeah. Okay, let's ask that question one more time there, Monica.
What are some of the things that you learned from this experience?
So many things were learned during this experience. I would say the biggest thing I learned is that this is something that I could do on my own, right? This is the biggest investment of my entire life. And I think oftentimes there's this stigma of when you purchase a home, you buy it with a partner so that you guys can do it together. And for me, it just made me feel really good once everything closed and I actually moved in and I started making it my own, that like, wow, I did this on my own. And, you know, friends, family say that to me all the time, but I think it takes you're
okay. Just pick it up from friends and family, you know, come and say, wow, you did this on your own, and kind of where you were headed with that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think a lot of times, you know, your friends and your family tell you, wow, that's so cool, you did that on your own, but it takes its own time to actually hit you. And for me, it took a while, and I think I lost my train of thought.
Okay.
What are the things that I've learned that it's something that I can do on my own, right?
Yeah.
Let's just sum it up. Like, let's put a period on it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe you can even say, like, when friends and family say that, you know, it's sometimes you're like, oh yeah, okay, but it's true. I did do this on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I did this, kind of, just to kind of put a nice period to it.
Yeah.
So let's pick it up from friends and family.
Wait, me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
When friends and family say.
Yeah, so, you know, even if I'm having conversations with my friends and my family, they're like, wow, you bought your house on your own. And it really it took its own time to hit me and be like, wow, Lariel, you did that. You did this on your own. So I think that was probably the best and biggest thing that I've learned, that when I make decisions, to be confident in myself and know that I can do them on my own.
Great.
Wow, that was like an independent woman.
That was so independent woman.
You just needed help
I'm an independent woman.
You just needed that help to put a period on it.
Yeah.
You're fine.
For sure.
Okay. So let's go into. So what is this home unlock that your previous living arrangement did not? So you were living at home before, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And maybe just talking about, you know, really just looking at because we don't. The goal of this isn't to trash, you know, renting or living at home or anything but just kind of assessing. You know, I saw my mom go through this process, which, you know, it encouraged me to have the confidence to do this. But then also, you know, I realized by, you know, doing the math and like the planning that I could do it, you know. So I think it's just like having, you know, it's I don't know if you want to say this or not, but like, I'm not living at home anymore, right? Like, it's not, for me, it was like, if I wanted to rent, you know, the apartments in this area are equally expensive, and if you can swing a down payment, like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So maybe like, you know, like you said, we're not bashing, you know, renting or anything like that, but we just want to kind of share that, like, say, I assessed if that was something that I wanted to do, and ultimately, like, it just made more sense, and I had the means to buy. So that's kind of what we're looking to get from that.
Okay.
Based off of what we chatted about.
Okay.
So, one quick question is, what does this home unlock that your previous living arrangement did not?
Okay. You'll give me an action or just go?
Okay.
What does this home unlock that your previous living arrangements did not?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, it's not my mom's house. She's amazing, one of the best roommates. She cooks. But, I mean, you get to a point in your life where you're like, okay, I need to start taking big girl steps. And that was kind of that next step for me. I would say, you know, just having a little bit more privacy. When I was in college, I had roommates, and then I moved back home, so I had my mom as a roommate. So for me, it was just that sense of, like, privacy, security, as well as, like, that sense of pride that like, yeah, cool, this is mine, you know? So yeah, I would say that's,
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
No, that was fine.
Stuttering. It's okay, just breathe.
I know, getting hot now.
Let's just pick up from you were just kind of like filling in you were just kind of ending it. So it is, I would say it it was
What's
just
different? What was it? What's different about your
what is this
What
living
does
arrangement
this
unlock
mean?
that a previous living arrangement did not? So, and I think you can even just say like, maybe let's just try it one more time. And I was living with my mom. I was looking at, do I want to rent, or I was looking at moving out on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Let's avoid big girl steps, just because like, just for your sake, I feel like.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
No, that's okay. I would say the same thing. Except not big girl. Yeah, so I would just say something along the lines like, I knew I wanted to, like, living out with my mom was not my end destination, as much as I love my mom, like all that stuff. But then getting into assessing, do I rent, do I buy? And really, like, after watching my mom go through buying her home and looking at my finances, realized I could do this. So it didn't make sense for me to rent, and that's when I kind of really started my journey.
And I know we mentioned before, like, we don't want to, like, obviously bash anyone that's renting. There's nothing wrong with that. I think for me personally, it was like I didn't want to put my money in someone else's pocket. I wanted to invest in myself. Yeah. Is that something that's
absolutely.
okay?
You can even just say that, like, that was just something, and I had the means to go that route. You know, kind of like, we don't want to, like, assume or make a claim, right? But for you, that's how you view it. Yeah. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Monica, you can ask the question again. Just, what is this home unlock that your previous living arrangement did not?
What does this home unlock that your previous living arrangement did not?
Yeah, well, it's not my mom's house. I think after I graduated college, I knew that living with my mom was just a transitionary phase, right? Figuring out what was next for me. Being in the Bay Area, it really was never appealing to me to kind of rent and have the idea of me putting my money into someone else's pocket. And so I think having that luxury of being able to live with my mom until I had enough money saved to invest in my own place, that was kind of always the goal. And as I started working at my first job, saving a ton of money, it was just always in the back of my mind of, I'm going to probably invest in a home. That's the next step. So, yeah.
Awesome. Great answer.
Thank you.
Okay. We're getting near the end here.
Okay.
Thanks, Marjorie. I actually have to swap battery again.
Yeah, I think. Can I give this to you? I think it's vibrating.
You're right, it's pointing.
Thanks.
But it's actually.
Your gold mount or you
Gold mount.
I just slid this back.
I know, these chairs sink in really far.
They're
so
such like adult chairs. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. These were actually from my parents. When my parents moved in together in Hayward, these were their chairs in their pool table room. And it's like real leather chairs. So my dad was like, here, you can have them if you want.
This is like serious.
They're good. They're nice. I never sit up here, but when I do, it's a nice sit.
It's like, seems like the room that you talk about big deal things.
Leather chairs.
Okay, you guys.
Your chairs lit up to this moment.
I know.
Yeah.
Now they're famous.
They're famous. Just tell your
They
parents.
never get used, but now they're famous.
So the next question is going to be, how do you define home? Like, what does home mean to you?
Okay.
And so I would say, ask that question. How do you define home? What does it mean to you? Okay. And I'd love for you to bring Marley into your answer. Because we want to show him, and like in the B-roll and things like that. So, it might be nice to like how it's like YouTube or something like that. Like, I just would love to bring Marley into.
I would love for you to bring Marley in.
Yeah.
It's
I
his
think
big break.
Marley wants to be in as well.
I think he does too.
So
if you can find a way to kind of work him into that, like, or even just mentioning him, it's a space for me, this is mine, we're getting into that once again, like that kind of long-term investment, generational wealth, like all of that stuff, right? And then also like it's a place for, you know, like I have a great backyard for my dog, Marley, and you know, like this is his space too, and because then we can get some video of him maybe sitting on the couch, chewing on something, you know, like all the good dog footage.
Love it. Okay.
So how does
So yeah, how would you define home?
what does mean
What
to
does
you?
that mean to
Okay.
you? And what does this place mean to you?
Okay.
Alright, let's
You want to be a part of this?
Hey, let me tell you something, alright?
No, get out of here.
Get the water bottle. Whose water bottle is that? Spoiler is mine.
How do you define home?
Sounds
All right, take 4, interview.
Okay, and action.
How do you define home, and what does this place mean to you?
Home to me is a place where I can spend time with my
Actually,
family.
hold up, let's ask that question one more time. Let's just say,
It felt a
how
little
do you,
weird.
how do you define home, and what does owning a home mean to you?
Okay. How do you define home, and what does owning a home
Because I
mean?
feel like it kind of is like similar question. We could just kind of hit those of it. Yep.
Okay.
And action.
How do you define home, and what does owning a home mean to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, one more time.
It's okay. Take your time.
It's getting hot.
Yeah, I know. We're almost done here.
Okay.
I think I presented it to you in a weird way, but
No,
here's
no.
some air.
Right?
No, you're good.
Okay.
How do you define home, and what does owning a home mean to you? Okay. How do you define home, and what does owning a home mean to you?
Home to me is a place that I can spend time with my family and my friends. Like, I have a puppy, Marley. He is amazing. So having a place where, you know, I can just host a dinner, host a movie night, host a birthday party, all of those things to me where you can have kind of that communal engagement with people that I love and care about. That's what home means to me. And I think owning this home, it's just a big staple in a new chapter of my life. I know long term it's definitely something that is an investment for me, but I have a lot of pride of being able to do this and own it and have my name on it. That was terrible.
No.
That was really good.
Don't do that. That's
Sorry,
great.
I was like, okay.
That was great. Just
Opposite of Jerry.
Just opposite of
Really?
what you just said. Honestly, if you start to feel like you're like not finding an endpoint,
Yeah,
just stop.
cut it. Okay.
Just cut. Just let it be, and then do the cringe later.
Okay.
Just because it's. I
Now
think
you
it's
can't
not what
crop
you
it.
think.
Okay. Okay.
You did such a
It's
nice job.
exceptional, yeah.
So let's just try that one more time.
I think probably just starting off with like the Marley, kind of going from there. Like he has a home and he has a place to be.
Yeah.
Or I can just give her the
Yeah,
line.
why don't you
Yeah.
ask the question one more time? But then I would say talk about family and all that stuff, and then also bring like kind of maybe end with Marley, just so it's because you kind of like talking about like it's a place that I can host my family and friends, and
I
there's
know, I was
Marley,
thinking about
and then
that.
you went back into family and friends. So
Yeah.
maybe just like either start with Marley or. But I think it makes sense for you to talk about. I love to host. Having a place to host is important to me. And then there's Marley, and then I loved how you went into talking about, you know, this is the investment and the generational wealth and like all of that aspect. And yeah, just having pride that I did this. Like always, just like running that point, like just driving it into the ground. That's huge.
Okay.
Okay.
The question was,
How do you define home, and what does owning a home mean to you?
how do you define home, and what does owning a home mean to you?
To me,
That was weird the way I said that. No? Okay, I'm getting worse. Like,
I know. Sorry,
Sorry.
it's the heat. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I know,
Okay.
it's getting warm. We're almost done.
all right, one more time.
And we can turn the
How
AC
do you
back on.
define home, and what does owning a home mean to you?
Yeah, and I love how you kind of like owning a home, like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like let's go. Okay, and action.
How do you define home, and what does owning a home mean to you?
Yeah. I would define home as a place where I can host. I keep talking about that, but I have a lot of family, a lot of friends. So being able to invite everyone over for dinner, for a birthday party, even a movie night, that just feels like home to me, right? Where you can have those types of gatherings and engagements with the people that you love the most. And then I guess owning a home, for me, it's just a next step in a big chapter of my life. Being able to say, you know, I'm investing in myself, I'm investing in my future, and just knowing that this is something that's going to stick with me forever. I think I find a lot of pride in that, something to really, really be proud of, and it's definitely something that means a lot. Didn't mention Marley.
That's okay.
My baby.
Let's we'll find another place for that because that was great.
That was good.
Thanks.
What about this house? Let's say this. What about this house gives you that home feeling? And maybe that's like where, you know, it's like I love all the, you know, kind of we were talking about like what attracts you to it. Similar as that first question. I think that's a really great place to incorporate, like, you know, and playing, you know,
The backyard,
like Marley like, has the couch and he has the backyard and, you know, kind of just like, it's his house too. Like, we can go into that realm.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is,
what about this house gives you that home feeling?
gives you that like home feeling. So that's kind of like, you know, we're trying to drive that point.
Okay.
Okay, and action.
What about this house gives you that home feeling?
I would say how open it is. I can't tell you how many times my friends and my family come over and they're like, it's so homey in here. I love it. It's so cute. So just getting that affirmation from people who come in and visit, I think is just really nice. And I think it's attributed to how open my house is, right? Like you walk in the front door, you can see all the way to the back of the house. I have so many windows, so it's just a ton of natural light. And then also my puppy, Marley, he has more than enough space to play around in the living room. I have my backyard outside that he loves playing fetch. So yeah, I would say probably the openness of my house is what makes it feel like a home.
Great job. Okay. Two more questions. So, was homeownership always a goal of yours? If so, how does it feel to achieve this goal?
Was homeownership always a goal of yours? And if so, how does it feel to achieve this goal?
Let's try that one.
Yeah.
You got it.
With the subtle hair toss right there. I saw it.
Okay, was homeownership always a goal of yours? And how does it feel to achieve this goal?
And then, if so,
how does it feel
how
to
does it feel to achieve this goal? Yeah.
Okay. Was homeownership always a goal of yours? And if so, how does it feel to achieve this goal?
For me, it's really interesting. So I played basketball in college. When I graduated, I moved back home. And so life was moving so fast after college that I couldn't really grasp the idea of owning a home. But because kind of all of my ducks were in a row and I was able to budget and plan financially, it just made sense as the next big step. I didn't really know what to do with my money prior to that. And after a few conversations with my mom and her having her recent experience, it really just encouraged me to start looking. And I forgot what the second question was.
And how does it feel to achieve this goal? So, yeah. And I would just say, like, maybe, like, let's just try to do, like, a kind of a quick answer, you know, where you're just like, I always, you know, it wasn't on my radar initially, but then once I, you know, realized that this was something I could do, it became almost it's almost like, I don't want to say obsession, but like, it became very high on my list.
Yeah. Okay.
And like now that I have it, it feels great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So present the question again?
Yep.
Okay.
Was
homeownership always a goal of yours, and how does it feel?
If so, how does it feel to achieve this goal?
Was homeownership always a goal of yours, and if so, how does it feel to achieve this goal?
Yeah, to be honest, I would say that, you know, I would think I wanted to buy a home in the future. It wasn't a goal of mine this close to my age. But now that I have it, or now when I...
It's okay.
It's okay.
I don't know why I'm thinking about this so much. Just talk. Okay.
And also, you don't have to make it so long-winded. It could just be like a quick thing.
It could be an answer. You know, it wasn't something that I had like always thought about, but or like it became a priority when I realized it was something I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And then just be like, and now that I've done it, it's incredible. This is mine. Like, okay. And Mike, you can ask that question one more time.
Okay. Was homeownership always a goal of yours? And if so, how does it feel to achieve this goal?
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't a huge goal of mine, but once it was on my radar, and I started looking, I was super excited when I found this house. And I think for me now, in hindsight, it's just something that I'm really proud of.
Great, cool. Last question. Last question. If you had one piece of advice for a single woman looking to buy their own home, what would that be?
Okay. If you had one piece of advice for a single woman looking to buy a home, what would that be?
My piece of advice would be don't look back. If you make the decision and you want to do it, just go for it. Find someone that's a mentor, someone that purchased a home recently that can give you some advice. But if you are making that decision, just go for it.
Great. Let's also just add, if you don't mind, you add just and you know, being confident in yourself, and then also leaning on your experts that can help guide you through that process. So whether that's, and by experts I mean like realtor, the banks, your inspectors, your mom, like whoever that is, like that just keep it into experts. That's like a really nice way to like not kind of narrow into anything specifically, but kind of something that's like like people that are here to kind of that can help you navigate that process.
Yeah.
All right, so let's ask that one more time.
Yep. Was owning a home always a...
If you have one piece of
advice. Oh, if you had one piece of advice.
We did that one so many times.
That's okay. It's in there.
If you had one piece of advice for other single women.
For a single woman looking to buy her own home, what would it be?
Okay, if you had one piece of advice. Okay. If you had one piece of advice for a single woman looking to buy her own home, what would that be?
My piece of advice would be to just be confident. Go through the process, ask tough questions, lean on experts to really point you in the right direction. But I think the biggest thing, especially taking that first step, is just being confident, sticking with that decision, and going with it.
Awesome. Great job. Okay. Let's cut. I'm going to just ask a question. So I'm going to turn the AC back on real quick, and then... Okay, awesome. And then is there anything that we missed?
Good job, Lariel.
Thank you. Nice job. I need to go stand in front of the AC.
Okay.
I'm hot.
You guys got jackets on.
Yeah.
Go stand by the AC.
Yeah. Cooking.
Yeah.
Are you hot back here too?
Great.
Thanks.
Go out and use the jacket. For some odd reason, the heat is back there, like the sun is beaming back there.
Yeah.
So it's really hot in the front?
Yeah. I think just because like everyone's up there and we're talking so much.
And the lights, probably. But we're doing great.
Thank you. A little stuttery, but.
Yeah, we'll do. I was thinking, let's do, since we're just in here right now, let's knock out.
They said that was great. They said thank you, everyone.
Yay!
Awesome.
And then we'll move.
Okay.
I think the real MVP here is Marley, obviously.
I know, and he's had 0 screen time. I know, I actually feel like I need to let him out to the bathroom.
Don't let me forget.
Someone's got to remember this.
It's a VO.
It's just VO.
Yeah?
The VO.
Yep.
Okay. So.
Can I let Marley out to go to the bathroom?
Oh, good.
Really quick?
Doug, did you clear out those C-stands?
Let's just bring
I'm
those
gonna
out.
be there.
Marley, hello.
Hey, welcome back, buddy. Is there any lip? Can I do a little lip? I'm feeling a little dry.
Yep. want to shoot? We gonna shoot the 2 shot at the same time, just for
Might
coverage
as
sake.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this will
We
be.
usually do.
Yeah. I had a minor aneurysm. I've only done this 6 times.
Well, usually I'm on that one.
How are you on card space?
Mix it up.
I have got 10 minutes.
Okay.
Should be.
Good to finish this.
Yeah, this shouldn't.
Should be good for finish this, and then maybe everything.
Oh?
Potentially.
Am I needing water? Am I needing water?
No, but hey Dom.
Can you pick that up?
What?
Could you move my seat over to where you're standing?
Oh.
What do you want? What do you want?
Pick up that water.
Why don't you take it off?
It's more annoying to take it off and put it back on.
Hey, you know what? You're more. No, I'm just kidding.
That's probably true.
Honestly, that's everybody always asks me like,
Why do you wear it down?
why do you wear it? Like oh, drop the camera, take it off, and I'm like, honestly, it's especially in a house, like putting these things on or just.
Yeah, you just feel like you're gonna hit.
I mean, if you're outside, it's like, ooh, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
Marley, bring this. Marley.
So,
It's 11 out of 10.
catching a
Are you both
easy
pointing
one
this way now?
What?
What?
Are you both pointing this way now?
No, I'm gonna be still this way. What's it?
What's that?
Frame wise?
Yeah, I'm just thinking
She went to the bathroom.
with her there.
Can you give her mic?
Which one is
Take the pack off. Probably leave the wire.
with the single
Women
handle and
having
the single
So now
handle.
we're just gonna
It
go
looks
ask
like
questions.
exaggeratedly sized Star
And
Wars.
like,
Yeah.
Nice. Hello.
like a
if
Neo-11
you do one
blaster.
thing loose, I'm
Not Neo.
Non-Neo-11.
Closer to like
like
Solo's
Hans,
pistol.
yeah.
and I have all the
But I know it's
questions.
But I do like that you knew what I was talking about. I don't know. From some game. One of the games.
It's a Stormtrooper.
Yeah. But it's like I know it because like Jedi Outcast or something.
Oh, we didn't do this! I can't believe I forgot. That was embarrassing.
Mario, you're going to your favorite? I know.
No. We just played.
And you went to me looking for more. Same.
Wow. Wowzers. And a pot?
Yes, dog footage.
Definitely a California dog.
It's in his dog fix.
I can't see my dog for a day.
What a goof.
Oh, let's put Marley back in Alice room.
What a goof.
It's been real.
Alright, let's see your frame.
Am I pretending to look sort of where
Lariel would be.
really
Alright, go back in. Your mic,
I like it.
Yeah.
I feel like there. I'm a little too close. I gotta
Yeah,
get back.
maybe, yeah, scooch.
Where'd she go?
Scooch that cooch.
Let me get this mic back.
What's wrong? Go to the frame.
So that is about matching distance wise.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
It's great.
you mind the glare on the painting?
Oh,
A little.
I'm losing it. No.
No.
No, that'll work.
No.
Alright, cool.
You said now you don't want water?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
We are almost done
Solid.
with the interview.
How are you on time?
We just saw this bag in actually. We're blowing through these things.
Huh.
What are you doing?
It's different.
Swapping a
Is
bag
it,
in. I
is
don't
it
know
your
what's
TV
going on.
logic?
Oh, maybe it's like super bright.
The egg cooker?
This thing usually is not like.
Good job, Marley. Nailed it.
So bad.
That other one, fresh one we put on red, it said 20 minutes. And it was 20 minutes, which is crazy. I mean, like,
Are you using the really slim ones? Oh yeah, because they're garbage. I'm sorry. The 98 ones are the 98.
Are those only like 60? What are they?
That's
Those are
75.
75s. Those are 75s.
I mean,
Yeah.
even then, like,
It should be closer
You know,
to
why don't
30.
you stop complaining about everything, Andre? How about that?
I'm not.
Why don't you learn to just
happy.
enjoy the ride?
Enjoy batteries.
Enjoy. You know what? Just be better.
Is the TV Logic an egg cooker?
I mean, that thing.
It gets hot.
It's so hot.
Someone had to have a
It's
TV
not-
logic on.
It's not too bad right now, but
I can see. I can feel where that like gets spicy.
Just couldn't have the Indy 7 crap monitor. Just had to have a TV logic.
Thank you.
It's a
I
5.
don't know.
Is the 7 inches too big?
all it is the size.
So as I've gotten older, I need bigger screens.
Oh man, that's bigger problems.
Yeah, that's.
That is actually, yes. We should talk about this later, actually.
Yeah, we need
Are
to
you wearing,
unpack
are you
that.
wearing your contacts?
I am.
Okay, good. Alright, let's get back in, everybody.
God, do you remember when it was like, everybody moved to glasses because they're like, don't touch your eyeballs, and you're like, but they fog up all the time.
Oh yeah, shooting in like these scenarios with glasses, you barely see.
We good to go?
Good to go.
Let's go ahead and rip it.
Let's rip it.
Let's rip it.
Rip it and rip it.
So this is gonna be a little awkward, this part, just so you
Okay.
know.
This is where the tough questions come.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everything
No, I'm
that we
just
just did, now we're going to be asking you the hard stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Basically what we're doing is we're mimicking the idea that we're 3-camera shoot versus just a 2-camera shoot.
Okay.
So what we're doing is I'm getting a single with Andreas over there. Like he was getting you for your answers, now he's just getting one for her asking questions. So
Okay.
you don't have to answer the questions, we're just going to go through each question.
Okay.
And
But I'm still looking at her.
Yep,
I'm
yep, we
okay.
want to keep the same eye lines and all that stuff, so that's why we want you to be there. And also, we're still recording this angle, so if we cut to a wide of her asking that question, we have you in it. And
Okay.
like that. But just wanted to let you know like why we're
Okay.
doing this. And you're not expected to answer a question.
Okay.
I think there's a new purse on the counter over there in front of the toaster. I don't know who's got this purse.
It's not visible from my angle.
Okay.
Was it there before?
Yeah, just bring it down.
Okay.
Could have been there.
I think it was there.
If it wasn't, I never saw it.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
It's not mine, is it
from
yours?
this height.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
Okay.
that's not mine.
Steve's purse.
Okay, so the first question is going to be a little bit. Okay, so let's speak.
Sounds sweet.
A speeds.
Take 5. Marker.
Alright, so Monica, the first
Yeah.
question is, I think it's okay to put some so's in, you know, like I think it's just like, 'cause
Every time, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say, so tell me a little bit about your home, what drew you to it?
Mm-hmm. All right. So tell me a little bit about your home. What drew you to it?
Cool, let's do that one more time, you kind of did like, the way your
Did I?
thumbs, yeah, you kind of like, hey, help me there, so,
Okay.
just wanted to give you that.
Okay, cool. So tell me a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your home. What drew you to it?
Phenomenal. Okay.
Just like feels weird. You ask me, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you it's a little weird. It's
Yeah.
a little weird. What kind of alterations have you made to your home so far?
Okay. What kind of alterations have you made to your home so far?
Let's do that one more time. And like,
Okay.
kind of like, so I think the way I said it was, what kind of alterations have you made to your home so far? So it's
Okay.
kind of like,
What kind of alterations have you made to your home so far? Okay. What kind of alterations have you made to your home so far? Try it again.
No, that was great. Actually.
Yeah?
You
Okay.
came in for it, yeah. What's your favorite part about this home?
Okay. What's your favorite part about this home?
And maybe let's do one too, where you kind of like do like a, what's your favorite part of this home? Like you're almost
Okay.
like searching for it yourself.
Okay. What's your favorite part about this home?
Let's do that one more
Yeah.
time, and like do scan that way, and back to her when you finish
What's
it.
your favorite part about this home? Okay. What's your favorite part about this home? That probably.
That's good.
That's
All right.
weird, but-
And then the last question is, what's your favorite part of this area?
Okay.
So maybe let's, instead of saying favorite part, like, what do you love about, or,
What do you love about this area?
yeah.
Okay. What do you love about this area?
Awesome. Okay. Next question is, tell me about your journey to this home.
Okay.
And then I also add, so let's start with a so for this
So
one.
tell me about your journey to this home.
And then we'll do one without so.
Okay. So tell me about your journey to this home.
Cool. And
Tell me about your journey. Oh.
yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. You can go ahead.
Tell me about your journey to this home.
Awesome. Okay.
It's getting very intimate.
I know.
Yeah. How did you prepare financially based on your budget, your needs, your wants?
Mm-hmm. How did you prepare financially in terms of your budget, your needs, your wants?
Awesome. Okay. As a single woman, what empowered you to start the journey of home ownership?
Okay. As a single woman, what empowered you to start this journey?
What empowered you to start the journey of home ownership?
Woman, what empowered you to start the journey?
So maybe kind of like as a single woman, like kind of like pause on that, like kind of just like
as a single woman,
yeah.
What empowered you?
You did that
yeah.
on your you're like as a single woman, you know, like kind of like
single woman,
we're psyched about that.
What empowered you to start this journey on your own?
Yep.
Okay.
And
as a single woman, what empowered you to start this journey? One more time.
Yep.
Okay. As a single woman, what empowered you to start this journey on your own?
To start this journey of home ownership.
To start this journey of home ownership.
Yep.
As a single woman, what empowered you to start this journey of home ownership? Okay. As a single woman, what empowered you to start this journey of home ownership?
Oh, okay. And then, okay, so now that you are on the other end of this and can look back, is there anything you would have approached differently?
Okay. So now that you're on the other end of this and you are finished.
Yeah, sorry. And you can look back at
it. Okay, so now that you're on the other end of this and you can look back at it.
Is there anything you would have approached differently?
Is there anything you would have approached differently?
Yeah.
Now that you're on the other end of this and you can look. Okay. So now that you're on the other end of this and you can look back at it, what would you approach differently?
Okay. Let's do one without so too.
Okay.
I like having it because it is kind of a way to
transition
bring it into a little bit more conversational. But
yeah.
So let's do one without so.
Okay. Now that you're on the
other end of this and you can look back at it, is there anything you would have approached differently?
Now that you're on the other end of this and you can look back at it, is there anything that you would have approached differently?
Love it. Okay.
It's like we're really connected.
And then, what are some of the things that what are some other things that you learned from this experience?
All right. What are some other things that you learned from this experience? I feel like I have a weird hair during things. One more time.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you learned from this experience? Yeah.
Pop back in. It's just kind of
The tack of the hair. What are some of the things that you learned from this experience? What are some of the things that you learned from this experience?
Oh, did I lose you, Alex?
No, you lost me. My cameras just started to shut down.
Oh.
What, bro?
It's shutting down.
It didn't even like shut off.
No, it didn't cut out. It just said shutting down.
I got it.
That might be corrupted. We have to check that playback.
Yeah.
It wasn't sudden.
It was. It actually went to shutting down. Yeah.
Wait a second.
It didn't cut out.
Okay.
It went
But
to shutting down.
also Reds are pretty good about that nowadays.
Now? You sure? Really?
Yeah, they're not.
That was always the biggest problem.
That kind of
Yeah.
changed during this new body.
I hope we
Actually,
can
even old body.
So
kind of fixed it.
Let's get you a new battery.
There's
And
something-
we'll get AC power.
So, yeah, there's something. I think there's something wrong with this
No,
plate.
the bond's okay. Okay. I'm looking at the
When I hit the battery immediately, right after it happened, it was reading as like flashing, blinking 1 bar. And now it reads as 3 again.
Oh, the place.
So something's going on with the plate. Because now, when it first powered off, it was at 1 bar blinking, and now it's reading 3 again, which is like where it would have been, or should have been. So something's going on with it.
Why would AC power?
What's AC power?
I don't know if that's this.
I said, what's AC power?
Just plug it to the wall.
Okay.
Do you want me to grab it?
No, I
What's
mean,
the one
that's a
is-
good battery, so.
Yeah, it's one of the good ones. Some of them,
So if we lose everything?
I'm gonna check one of them. But it should be fine.
Yeah, it did tally off
Right, it went
before it.
booting down, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it cut and then it.
That shouldn't be a battery then. Because if it lost power, then it just.
Well, it has sometimes automatic shutdown.
Yeah, if it dips below a certain
Yeah.
voltage, it'll say, "Oh, I gotta go."
They have
Yeah, so
thresholds
and it
on
did
this.
because the battery was reading as almost nothing.
Yeah.
But then the battery's also reading at 3/4, so it's
Alright.
something.
You gotta program the threshold or whatever into it.
Normal stuff.
I never do.
I think I need your Instagram after this. Like, we really connected. And really, like, I mean, we're just like looking at each other's eyes.
I know.
Yeah, we
It's
got a
very
battery
much
of
like
1 hour
that.
and 19
Yeah,
minutes.
like,
That's better
just-
than
We'll
everything else was 20, 30
I
minutes.
feel like
Yeah.
I know all your
Okay,
deepest
let's
inner.
check that one.
Yeah, checking.
Yeah.
Just scrub all the way to the end.
Nah, this battery's better. Why don't we put the shark fin on? I just realized that. You're just doing a single battery on the back?
Length gets kind of weird.
Oh, so you're
Yeah,
okay.
It would be like arming, yeah.
Okay.
Also,
It's a big baby.
that's fine. That's good. Clip's good.
Alright, cool. Let's get back into it.
Okay.
Alright, so we were at. What are some of the things you learned from this experience?
What are some of the things that you learned from this experience? What are some of the things that you've learned, Lariel?
Yeah.
Okay, out of the way. We got everybody.
Stay gold.
What are some of the things that you learned from this experience?
Yeah, I have a picture of mine.
So what are some of the things that you learned from this experience? What are they?
Speeds.
Species.
Take 6. 5 plus 1. Marker.
5 plus 1.
Fingers.
Okay.
That's a new one.
So, let's just ask this one question real quick again. I just want to, the client just wanted to make one little note. Instead of saying what kind of alterations have you made to the home so far, let's say what kind of renovations.
What kind of renovations have you made to the home so far? Okay. What kind of renovations have you made to the home so far?
Let's do that one more time.
Okay.
And action.
What kind of renovations have you made to the home so far?
Great. Okay, next question. What are some of the things that what are some of the other things that you learned from this experience? Actually, let's say what are just, not others. What are some of the things you've learned from this experience?
Okay. What are some of the things that you've learned from this experience?
Let's also do what are some of the things that you learned from the home buying experience?
Okay. What are some of the things that you learned from the home buying experience?
Awesome. Okay. What has this home unlocked that your previous living arrangement did not?
What has this home unlocked that your previous living arrangement did not?
How do you define home, and what about this house gives you that home feeling?
How do you define home, and what about this house gives you that home feeling?
And then let's just do one where we split that question up completely, where it's just, how do you define home?
Okay. How do you define home?
And then, what about this house gives you that home feeling?
So what about this house gives you that home feeling?
Love it. That was very theatrical.
You know?
I love it. And then, was homeownership a goal of yours? And if so, how does it feel to achieve that goal?
Was homeownership a goal of yours? And if so, how does it feel to achieve that goal?
had one piece of advice for a single woman looking to buy their own home, what would it be?
And if you had one piece of advice for a single woman looking to buy her own home, what would that be?
All right, so now what we're gonna do is this is where it gets super awkward. Is we're gonna do Monica kind of like agreeing to what you're saying, like right.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But I'm not saying anything.
No, we want you to say because it's like we're doing it's a little bit of the like movie magic. So if you say something that is like hits a point that Monica is like, because then we'd be like right. So then it feels a little bit more like you guys are having this conversation at one time. But if we do it as a conversation, like it limits to how we kind of use each other, right? Yeah. Unless we have like 5 cameras, then it'd be fine. But we don't, so that's why we do it this way. So just bear in mind. Okay, so luckily you only have to do this to one person. When it
was very interesting.
There's 2 of them, so because the eye line change is just enough to notice it, we had to do these gestures to like Abby and then to Annie and then Abby to Annie. So it's just this will go quickly.
We're connected, so it won't be weird.
Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is you're just gonna be Monica. You're just gonna be nodding like. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Cool. All right, and if you want to.
Turning off my camera.
Huh?
I'm powering down.
Yeah,
it would make. Oh,
right,
sure.
that makes sense.
Oh, so I'm not in it either.